Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of our course Salesforce Apex for Beginners. You are watching Long Switch Academy and this is your host Shubham Prajapati. In this video, we are going to talk about why do we need to use Salesforce Apex programming during the Salesforce development, what purpose it serves, and what are the general use cases in which we should be opting for like Salesforce Apex programming over the automation tools. So stay tuned till the very end. You will definitely get value out of it. Before we proceed with this episode, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, do subscribe to it now. Ring that notification bell so that you never miss an update from us. So the first use case for opting for Apex programming is the development for custom business logic. Let's first understand the scenario. What do I mean by custom business logic? For example, you need to implement complex business rules that can't be handled with Salesforce's standard features of declarative tools like workflows or process builders. You wonder what does this mean? Often we come up with a situation or business requirements that are very complicated in nature, where we have to consider so many criteria, so many conditions to meet specific use case. That kind of complex structure of conditions or logic can't be handled by process builders or flows or workflow rules. In those kind of situations, we should always be looking for a custom what I say custom logic. And as you know, in Salesforce, the only supported programming for the backend part is Apex programming. So in that kind of situation, Apex becomes your go-to place. For example, let me consider an example for this situation. Let's say you run a web store and where you sell a lot of products online to your customers. But as you have monitored that, as you might have noticed on so many existing online shopping stores, they provide a lot of discounts to their customer based on their purchase history, based on their location, based on their based on their choices of shipping or payment method, based on the promo codes that they have. So with the combination of the all this setup, they calculate a specific discount that meets the eligibility of a particular customer. Just think like to calculate right amount of discount for individual customer that vary on so many factors, how much complicated logic you will have to write. And as you know, the point and click tools or declarative tools such as process builders, workflows or flow, they are meant for rather straightforward business processes which are easy to achieve, and they have certain limitations in configuring such complex logic. So in that kind of situation or in that kind of custom business logic scenario, you should always be opting for Apex programming. For the sake of easiness, I have tried arranging the business logic scenarios for the use of Apex classes in this kind of pattern, where I will be discussing first the scenario and a practical use case, so that it makes the things clearer for you and you can also relate to this discussion. If in case still something are not clear to you and you have some doubts or questions, feel free to use the comment section below so that we can reach out to you as soon as we can. The second business use case or second scenario in which you should be opting for Apex programming is triggers. You wonder, since I already have an option such as record triggered flows, then why should I not opt for them instead of writing Apex triggers? Let me tell you the difference. As you know that the triggers are executed whenever you insert, update, delete or undelete some records. If based on these changes or based on these record changes, if the subsequent tasks that you are planning to do are relatively small, less complicated, then it is always good to use what I say record triggered flow. But you know that if you're based on the record changes, for example, based on your change in your account record, you want to do a lot of subsequent activities, such as you want to update all its related opportunities, you want to update all its what I say related custom data, maybe you want to send the notifications to a lot of people, or maybe you want to perform some more automation which makes your entire record change event a complicated one. So for such complicated triggers, you should always be opting for Apex programming, so that you can utilize the resources better and you achieve the better performance with your automation procedures. So let's quickly take an example here, the scenario and example here. For example, if you want to automate actions when records are created, updated, deleted, or undeleted, you can always opt for Apex programming if the nature of your subsequent actions is a bit complicated. For example, automatically updating related records, it is same as the example that I gave you of account and opportunity, sending notifications, or creating new records in the response to change in the Salesforce. So again, for doing the same thing, there are a lot of options with you that Salesforce provides. You have to choose wisely. You have to choose based on the nature of your automations. The third use case for opting for Apex programming language is web service integration. You wonder, what does this mean? When you work on live projects with Salesforce development, there often comes a need to integrate your Salesforce CRM with third-party systems. That can be for payment gateway integration or just exchanging the data between two systems. Often such third-party systems exposes their data or services via APIs. So you will have to write custom code in Apex programming to talk to those third-party systems APIs and compose your data in such a way that is supported by those APIs. So for that kind of integration projects as well, you will have to utilize Apex programming language to achieve the security and robustness, so that you don't miss or leak information while exchanging the data to and from the Salesforce. Let's take a look at this scenario and example for this use case. First would be, you need to interact with external systems or services through APIs. This is what I have explained to you. Second example would be like integrating with a third party payment gateway in your application, or just interacting with other CRM system to exchange the data to support your business use cases. The fourth use case or situation in which you should be opting for Apex programming is batch processing. You wonder, what is this batch processing thing? It is nothing but when you have a requirement to process a lot of data or large volume of data asynchronously without hampering users' activities or without affecting any of your Salesforce services. As you know, the point and click tools such as flow builders, workflows are meant for relatively simple and small set of data. But in case you have thousands or millions of data to process, for such kind of batch and large data processing, you should always be opting for Apex programming, so that you can develop a solution which doesn't interfere with day-to-day activities of your users and it doesn't hamper the services. Let's take an example. Running nightly jobs to update or clean up records, processing large data exports, or handling bulk data imports. Let's say you are running a business and you are using Salesforce in your business, and you know that you have a lot of data coming in into your Salesforce, and just for the sake of backup, you want to export those data on a regular basis from Salesforce to your other database. Or maybe you are using some 2 3 systems to manage your data and you want to transfer those data from one system to Salesforce CRM. For those kind of imports as well, you can also use batch processing. Such for the better usability of the resources, scalability, robustness, and to achieve asynchronous approach, you should always be opting for Apex programming. The sixth reason why you should opt for Apex programming is really interesting and exciting. It is custom user interfaces. You wonder what does this mean? As you know, depending on your business use cases or requirements, you sometimes have to develop custom screens with the help of Visual Force pages or Lightning Web components or Aura components to suit or to match your business requirements. For such custom user interfaces, where Visual Force page or Lightning components or Lightning Web components serves as the for front end, the back end or the server side logic of those custom like applications or custom user interfaces are often developed in Apex programming. So if you are working on something custom from the UI point of view, which requires some sort of server logic, then Apex is your go-to place. Let's take a scenario and then the example for this use case. The scenario goes like that: you want to create custom user interfaces that require server side logic, the same that I have explained. And the example: building a custom Visual Force page or Lightning component that requires complex data manipulation or interaction. You mean it simply means whenever your custom UI screens require some data to process, some complex logic to process, then Apex is your go-to solution. The sixth use case or scenario in which you should be opting for Apex programming is complex data manipulation. What does this mean? Let's quickly take a look at the scenario and example. Let's say you need to perform complex calculations or data transformations that are beyond standard Salesforce capabilities. What does this mean? Often you receive a request from your users that they want to see a matrix of data combined from different set of objects, that might those objects might be relating to each other with parent child or master detail relationship. So they submit you a requirement that, okay, these are my 5 parent objects which have 10 child objects, and those child objects also have uh, their relationship with other objects. I want a data set which is a combination of all these objects. I want to see some aggregated reports over there that I want to use in my applications. For such complex data manipulations or for such what I say complex data aggregations, you will need Apex, because with standard declarative tools or what I say automation tools such as flows, process builders, or workflows, you won't be able to achieve such complexities or such complex logic. For that kind of situations also, you need to opt for Apex programming. Like here, let's take an example: aggregating data from multiple objects to generate custom reports or dashboards. As you know, all the reports and dashboards receive data from the backend itself. So when you want to develop some sort of custom reports or dashboards that cannot be created by standard reporting feature or dashboards or from automation tools, Apex is your go-to solution. The last use case or scenario in which you should be opting for is asynchronous operation. This one is my favorite because I often utilize these techniques at my work and on the projects that I work on, because all those projects are really data oriented, where I often need to deal with millions of data at a time. So what does this asynchronous operation mean? Let's take a look at the scenario and example. For example, you need to perform operations that are time consuming. Obviously, if you are dealing with large set of data to process all such records, it will be a time consuming process, and you are not wanting that operation to block your user from operations or operating with your Salesforce CRM. So such time consuming large data oriented operation are meant for asynchronous processing, and for such asynchronous operations you can always opt for Apex programming, as it allows you to do batch processing or queuing your operation for the execution. Now let's take an example. Like as I said, you can queue your long running tasks for the execution using the batch or queuable Apex, and you can also like automate or queue your task for sending emails or processing data in the background. So such time consuming large data oriented operation which require asynchronous processing, Apex is your go-to place. With this, we complete the list of situations or scenarios in which you should be opting for Apex programming. Like if I have to put a summary to this episode, you should only be using Apex programming when you need some sort of advanced customization, advanced automation, integration, or bulk processing that goes beyond the standard tools that Salesforce already provides. And when I say standard Salesforce tools, I mean declarative or automation tools. So you should always be careful while you opt to choose Apex programming for your customization. It is always advisable by experienced developers, Salesforce community, and Salesforce itself that you should always be looking for the first to use declarative tools which are already available. Avoid using Apex if you don't need it until what I say, you end up with having your research and you don't find a solution that is doable by the declarative tools, then and then you should be opting for Apex programming. Like with this, we conclude this episode, and I hope you now have an idea what is the requirement for Apex programming in the world of Salesforce development. Thank you for staying till the very end of this video. I hope we have added value to your wealth of knowledge and you found this video insightful. Now, I also believe that you have the clarity on when you should be opting for Apex programming when you do your next Salesforce development project. Do let me know what you feel about this video. If you have any questions, any suggestions, any thoughts, you can share that those in the comment section below, and we will try to reach out to you as soon as we can. Until next time, keep learning and keep growing with LongSwitch Academy. If you haven't subscribed to it, subscribe to LongSwitch Academy now. Share it with your friends, community, so that they can also take benefit from here.